Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Malinga Sise of Urban Harvest Organic Farm. For all of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, I am so grateful. And for those who have not yet, please, let's consider subscribing. Click on that notification bell so that you never miss out any upload. Share this video. Give this video a thumbs up, please. Let's take this channel to the next level. And I'll be so grateful. Tell me which country you're watching me from. Today, I want us to talk about something very important in poultry farming, and that is why we do debeaking at our farms. For those who are doing layers or planning to do layers, please, you should know that you must do debeaking. And today I want us to share, discuss, see how we can do this debeaking, what are the tools we use for debeaking, at what age is right for you to debake your birds, and some of the advantages and disadvantages of debeaking. Actually, also there are some birds that you're not supposed to debake them. So please, let's stay tuned till the end and we discuss how we can do this debeaking at our poultry farm. Thank you. As I had told you earlier on, today I want us to talk about debeaking. Well, it is really weird to see that we have chopped off these birds' beaks, and someone out there can imagine how can they feed, how can they drink water when their beaks are being debeaked. But what do we have? We have no option. The only option we have is to chop off their beaks. Some of these birds, this debeaking is done sometimes twice in their lifetime. In the beginning, according to my experience, they are debeaked from the archery. I don't know how it is done, but with this last flock that I have, I got them from a different company, not from the company I used to get the birds from. So when these birds reached 1 to 2 weeks, I started seeing their beaks, the tips of their beaks dropping off. That is when I realized they were already debeaked from the archery. And then the second time you have to debeak these birds. How I did it at my farm is when they are between 10 to 12 weeks. Actually, these ones I debake them at 12 weeks, when now they are almost heading to the point of laying. So these birds are debaked. How are they debaked? There are machines that they use for debaking. First, we have the debaking scissors, and that is what I actually use at my farm. This is the debaking scissors. It's what I use at the farm. Why? Because I think this was the price was favorable for me, because this was around $10 to $12. But there's also another debaking tool that they use, which is electrical, but that was kind of expensive for me. I think it can go for even $100 to $200. I'm not sure about the price. I didn't find out, but what I know, it's kind of expensive, and that one is you use electricity to debake the birds. So for me here, I use this tool for debaking my birds at the farm. And the right age of debaking these birds is when they have made 12 weeks, actually between 10 to 12 weeks. Beyond that, at least the birds are not preparing for laying, so at least something should not disturb them. And how do we do this debeaking? This debeaking actually should be done by someone who is professional in debeaking. For someone who is still new and starting this project, and it is your first time, you have never done debeaking, please do not risk to do the debeaking. Make sure you find someone who have done it before. Like for us here in Uganda, there are people who do this debeaking for people in the farms, and you pay them some little amount of money, they do for you debeaking. Actually, even me in my first flock, that is what I did. I paid for someone and came and showed me how they do the debeaking, debaked for me all my birds. Well, it is really so sad to see these birds being debaked, because some of them bleed a lot. So it is really so painful, but we have no option other than debeaking them. So when you're doing the debeaking for the first time, please do not risk to debake the birds. Call someone who is professional in doing it and shows you what to do, and you do what, and they debake, and they also debake for you. And some people do not know how to debake, but the right way of debaking these birds is, if you can see this bird, it is being debaked. So you see the beaks. This is how you're supposed to debake this bird. But some people, they go ahead and cut even up to close to their nostril here. You find that a bird is cut off from here, from this point, which is really not good. When you cut off the bird's beaks from up here. There's a way you disturb them even in feeding. They will not feed it, even drinking water. So sometimes even the bird can die because it will overbreed, and the bird can die. So the right way of doing your debeaking is chopping the beaks like this. Well, sometimes if you also don't chop it well, these beaks can grow back. But for mine, I did it by myself, and since I did it when they were still 12 weeks till now, their laying off is due, but because of demonstration, that's why I've left them. So but you can see it has even not grown back. So this is the right way you're supposed to do the baking. Do not over chop the beaks. There's do it in a professional way. Actually, you need someone who has done it before to show you. So please, guys, the baking, that is how you're supposed to do the baking. So why do we do this debaking at our farm? First of all, these birds, when even they are still young, there is what they call cannibalism, which most of you know. Some of these birds tends to eat up other birds. But if they are debeaked, or if they are debeaked actually from day one from the hatchery, and you bring them in, you find that you will not find such cases of cannibalism. Like for me, I have never gotten such cases of cannibalism at my farm. Birds have never eaten each other, and then so that is one benefit of debeaking, and that's one reason why we do debeaking. So from day one, when the birds have been debeaked, you find that issues of birds pecking each other, bleeding, because for them, whenever they see blood, you find that they continuously peck on that bird, and that bird dies. And then another thing is there is also feather picking. So these birds, when they have their beaks, they keep on picking their feathers, and if it's even worse when their beaks are not beaked, because they will end up, you actually enter the farm, you find the whole farm is covered by feathers. So when you chop off their beaks, there's a way it reduces on that, and actually it makes their growth perfectly well. And then another thing, you find that when the birds are not debeaked, they tend to start pecking on their friends' vents, the other birds' vent, and at the end of the day, you find the birds' vent are bleeding, or even some of the birds have died because even they peck to the extent that the intestine come out, and you find the bird has died, and that is a big loss to the farm. And then another thing that why we do this debeaking at our farm, and it's important, is now when it comes to laying. When these birds start laying and they are not debeaked, you find that most birds, when they see their egg like this, they tend to peck, because these birds peck on anything. Even when you take in carveras, you find they are pecking it. Even when the nails fall down, you find they are pecking it. So anything they see, they tend to peck everywhere. So when they lay their eggs, you find they have started pecking on their eggs. And if they're not debeaked, you find that when they peck on an egg and it has a crack, automatically they eat off that egg. So to avoid egg eating, and when they get used to eating off their eggs, even if the feeds have enough calcium, you find that these birds are still going to eat off their eggs, because they are already used and they know how yummy and sweet the eggs are. They have already tasted it before, so they will continue eating off the eggs. And this is a very big loss to the business and to the farm. And that is some of the reasons why some of these farms fail, because you end up not making any money. You're always in losses because most of the birds are busy eating their eggs. So it is important for you to do this debeaking at your farm. And then another challenge why we also have to debake these birds, you find that as they're laying, and some birds still are not yet laying, as I talked about it in the previous video, or some birds tend not to lay, end up not laying at all. Those ones which are not laying, you find that the friends over-tease them, bully them, keep pecking on them. And now imagine if they have their beaks, if the beaks are not debeaked. How will they peck off this? So you find that some of the birds end up having no feathers at all. They are totally, I can call it totally naked, without any feathers at all. They are being pecked all the time. Now imagine if not debeaked. Some of those ones will be pecked and even they die. Or because whenever they see any blood, you find they tend to they continuously continue pecking on that bird and the bird. So those are some of the reasons why we do this debeaking at the farm. But however, debeaking also has some of the disadvantages, especially when it is not properly well done. Number one, when you don't do this debeaking well, you find that the bird may end up over bleeding, and even the bird will die. And then also it brings a lot of stress among the birds. That is why you should debake these birds when they have not yet reached the point that they have started to lay. In fact, birds that are laying, you're not supposed to debake them. And then also birds which are sick, please don't tamper to debake those birds. All birds which are under treatment, do not debake them, because this debaking is really, it is really not an easy thing to them, because also they feel the pain during the debaking. So those are some of also disadvantages of this debaking, because the bird will end up dying, the bird will end up being so stressed, the bird will not feed for actually like for almost a week, the birds may not feed well, so it also retards on their growth somehow. But still we have no option, we have to debake these birds. So however, you have to know that there are some birds that are not supposed to be debaked. First is the broilers. Those ones who are dealing in broilers, please, you do not have to debake the broilers, because for them, you stay with them for a shorter time, you sell them off, and some of this, even they also have some of these vices, because I remember in the beginning when I had broilers, I remember I lost some two baby chicks because of this cannibalism. So also, but for it is not too much or rampant, just like in the layer birds, because for them within 3-4 months, 3-4 weeks, you find that you're selling off the birds. So broilers, you don't need to debake your broilers. And then also the local birds like the turkeys, you don't need to debake the turkeys, you don't need to debake the ducks, even the local chicken. You can see most of these local chicken are not debaked. Okay, way back when we were in the villages, I remember birds that used to eat off their eggs, because there used to be these stubborn hens that eat off their eggs. Whenever they lay, they eat off their eggs. I remember my mom used to depict them. But I remember whenever they depict them, Bambi, they can become so sad and they end up even not laying. So this local chicken, there is no need of debaking them, because remember, they look for their food on their own. They have to scratch down, take to get their food. So there's no need of debaking this local chicken. So please, when you're planning to do this project, please endeavor to debake your birds, and debake it the right way and in the right time, and always use professional workers to do this debaking. So please, thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful. Please do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, click on the notification bell, give this video a thumbs up, comment down there, tell me your opinion on this. This is a platform where we can share opinion freely. Tell me which country you're watching me from, and I'll be so grateful. See you next time. Bye bye.